What's up everyone, this is Sam from 64 Wheels, back more Diecast, and I'm very excited about this video today. That's because it is the first in a three-part series I'm going to be doing on the Jada Pink Slips line. So if you're not familiar with this line, this series is going to tell you everything you need to know. We're going to get into the history of the line, why it exists, the quality, the details on each model, the collectability, and we're going to be unboxing every 1/64 scale card they've released so far. So this first video, we're going to touch on the history and why this line exists, and unbox all 12 of the first wave here. All excellent castings, really nice cars. The second video, we're going to be unboxing the 6 cars from the second wave, and then the third video, we're going to be unboxing 20 Majorette castings, and you're probably going to wonder why, and we're going to get into that here in a second. So what is the Pink Slips line? Where did this line come from? So this line kind of spawned out of nowhere in early 2023. The first time I saw this line was actually on a Diecast Facebook group where someone posted a picture of them hanging at Target and was like, hey, has anyone really heard of this line? And it was new to me too. I didn't see any teasers. I didn't see any sneak peeks about this line. It just kind of popped up. It took a lot of people by surprise, but if you're an eagle-eyed diecast collector or are familiar with these cars, you'll recognize that they're actually Majorette castings. So why is Majorette branding their cars under Jada and Pink Slips when they sell their cars in Walmart and Target right now under their own brand? These are the same castings. So why does this Pink Slips line exist, and why is it so nondescript? So as you notice, the Majorette card, it has the call out to Majorette. It's very colorful. It's very poppy. It has a lot of card art on it, but this one is almost more mysterious. There's no big branding across. It doesn't say like Majorette or Hot Wheels or anything like that. It just says Pink Slips. So this line is branded around a little kind of mysteriously, in my opinion, but it has very eye-catching pink card art. The box is branded the same way, and they have castings that are also 1/24 scale, and I believe 1/43 scale too. So there was a huge rollout of this Pink Slips line, like they went all in. So shortly after this line was released, I started seeing Instagram posts, Facebook posts, there was chat in Discord, some TikTok videos, and of course YouTube videos about this line and how it came to be. So how did it come to be? So why would Majorette release this same car in 2 different brands, basically within a peg of each other? Well, it comes to a little bit of issues selling Majorette and a corporate buyout of Jada. So back in 2019, Jada's new parent company, Simba Dickey, which I think I'm pronouncing right, a German company that owned Majorette, also bought Jada 2019. So Majorette is kind of, they have a troubled past, but they have a long history of making diecast. Majorette first made their diecast cars in 1964, so they've actually been around longer than Hot Wheels, but they've gone back and forth through bankruptcy probably 4 different times over the year, and then they were acquired by that same Simba Dickey company in around 2010. But in 2012, their factory was hit by either a monsoon or a typhoon. I can't remember which one, but it destroyed everything. It knocked out their entire factory. It destroyed the castings. So they basically had to start over, and that's where we get this nice modern era of Majorettes. All these cars come in the same type packaging. They come with a box. They have moving parts, metal bodies, rubber tires, and working suspension, which that is probably the coolest part. So, these came out in, man, I'm trying to think, probably the mid 2010-ishes, probably later in the 2010s. They've been at Walmart for a while, but if you've been through the diecast aisle, you'll know that they've kind of lingered. They don't sell the greatest. I know this one, even though I think this is awesome, has hung in our local Walmart forever. There's like 10 of them, and they just won't go away. The same with some of the other Jada castings or Majorette castings that just don't sell very well. They've kind of lingered, and I think I'm using my collector's opinion on this, but I think that's because they've branded these a little childish. Like, it has this huge warning because you're meant to give it to a kid. The Majorette logo itself looks like a toy brand. This has kind of like toyish art, and the box art doesn't help. It's just a simple cutout of the card with that toyish kind of logo on there. But the Pink Slip line changed all that. So when they bought this, when they bought Jada in 2019, they leveraged their spot in the current United States diecast market of having like a kind of like an alternative brand, because Jada has always had like cars on big wheels. They've done, to me, what are like more gangster castings. Like they've had the Fast and the Furious stuff. They've just done a lot of stuff that traditionally Greenlight, Auto World, or Hot Wheels haven't done. They've done a little bit bigger castings. They've done a different scale. So they just had a different grasp on the marketplace that Majorette has. And again, this is all my opinion based on research I've done online, and just by knowing the diecast market in general. I can see these things happening in front of me. So they took a brand of car that wasn't selling well and took their existing castings, reboxed them into this pink slips line, and they kind of got hyped up. When these first released, the mysterious or the mystery around them kind of caused people to buy them up, and they have good castings. Like this Bugatti looks so sick. It really does. It's an awesome casting. So the full licensed line of cars really help. They have a really diverse lineup. They're colorful. There's something here for everyone. They have American Muscle. They have the GTR. They have the German cars. They have the Bugatti. They have a Jeep. They have the Taycan or Taycan, however you say it, the electric car. There's just something for everyone. So this line really hit a lot of collectors' eye because of these various factors. This definitely looks more adult than this. I think we'll all have to agree with that. This looks a little more eye-catching, and I think in terms of collectability, this looks like the more adult collector car, where this looks like more of the kids' toy. So that's really how we got the pink slips line. A little bit of history of Jada and Majorette mixed in there, so you know why this line exists. So my question is, that I don't have an answer to, is why they're selling both at the same time when it's clear that Majorette isn't as big of a seller as Jada, but I guess they assume if they can sell both cars under both lines, why not? Because they're making money. But it seems like collectors have really gravitated more towards the pink slip line. But in video 3, when we unbox 20 Majorettes, you might change your mind about the pink slips line in general, and start collecting both, because the Majorette line has some amazing castings in it. So without further chat, now that we've covered the history of the line, a little bit about how the line came to be, let's start unboxing these things. So this is the first wave. All 12 of these cars seem to be released at the same time. Others were harder to find in the first place, obviously, just because some are more hyped than others. The Jeep Wrangler, the G-Wagon, and the Jaguar were some that seemed to linger, but the rest pretty much kind of got snatched up. Maybe the Land Rover too kind of lingered. But the Challenger Hellcat, that actually made the Lamely 2023 Best of Models showdown. So I was in the group that was helping decide that, and we all were kind of like, you know, this line made a really big splash in diecast, and this was the casting that best represents it. Even though I don't think this is the best car from the line, it just kind of embodied what the pink slip line was about hype, about getting cars into collectors' hands, bright colors, making a splash in the diecast market. So I don't remember how far it got. It didn't win by any means, but it is a really nice looking car. I mean, it just tells you the influence this line already has in the diecast lineup, that it's already being considered for lists like that and are catching collectors' eyes so early into the brand's history, even though they are Majorettes and we know that, but this line itself hasn't existed for that long. So let's go ahead and look at those again, blah, blah, blah. You can see all those. There's the barcode. You want to see it. So there's a second wave, and I think we might be waiting for the third wave as well. So let's go ahead and dig into these. All right, let's go ahead and open the Challenger first. So price-wise, these are a mid to upper tier car. They are $4.99 at our local Walmart and Target. Price can vary, of course, depending on what country or store or even region of the United States you're in. But in general, they're around $5 to $6. So that puts them below the Hot Wheels car culture, below Johnny Lightning, Auto World, really below all the what we consider to be premium brands. But in my opinion, this line is a great mix of premium and mainline style castings, but I would consider these premiums. Like they're premiums in my book. They have all the moving parts. They have the rubber tires, they have the suspension, they're nice castings. I consider these to be premiums, even though they're priced a little bit less, but you can decide for yourself. But I really like these. So we'll go ahead and bust them open and then start talking about the collectability and quality of the cars. So the packaging is good. I like the packaging. I like that they show all the cars on the back. I'm a fan of that. It's in color. It's not in black and white. I think that's good for collectability. This line in general, I've opened a few just on my own, and I've been pretty impressed with it. But I'm excited to share this with you guys because I'm a fan of this line. So, all right. Again, to me, premium brand, they protect the cars in two ways. There's two pieces of plastic holding it in, which is nice. It does come with the box. I'm not a huge fan of the box. I don't need them. If I open the car, I'm either going to set it in a diorama or I'm going to set it in like a display case. I don't really need the box. I appreciate the box because Matchbox, even Johnny Lightning, some other brands also do boxes. I mean, even Tomica or Tomica, however you say it, they do boxes, so it's cool to get the box. It does elevate the brand a little bit, but let's check out this car. So Challenger Hellcat, we're all familiar with what it looks like. So they have a few nice details on this car. One, it has the pad printed tampos that I like better than the printer style graphics that Hot Wheels and other brands are using. So that's kind of a step up here. You can see it has a detailed grille. It has plastic headlights. Like those are cast headlights in plastic. So that is a nice tidbit to have on a model. They're not done very well. I will say they kind of have a lot of misshapenness to them, but when you put them against the light, you can see that it does have circle outline in it. I just think when you set them back a little, they look more misshapen than they actually are, but they aren't shaped the greatest. But they have plastic headlights nonetheless. So we do have a nice painted black hood, simulated sunroof there. It's got the Hellcat logo on the side, which is nice, pad printed. It's got very good looking wheels and rubber tires. So the chassis on these are plastic. Now, I don't really care about that. Like, I don't care if it's plastic. I don't need a premium to have a metal chassis because I don't see it. Like, I don't see the chassis. I want a chassis that is correct. So if it gives me better detail by the exhaust or a better front splitter, make it plastic. I don't care. I don't equate quality to a metal chassis. But let's take a look at this car. So it has mirrors, which is kind of a big deal. Not a lot of cars have mirrors. It has that working suspension, so you can kind of like bounce it up and down. Let me see if I can show you. Kind of like that. They're so much fun to play with because they have that suspension. Again, some models work like have a little bit more movement than others depending on the wheel gap. But these are so fun to play with. So this has, I think, a double. Does this have a double moving part? No. So this is not a moving part. The doors are the moving part. So there you go. You can see it actually has a decently detailed interior. I know it's really hard to see. I'm gonna try to shine it in there a little bit, but it has a nice, like the steering column is quite large and the steering wheel is separated and has spokes to it. So it's not just a flat piece of plastic. Like, again, we went over Hot Wheels RLC cars. They have flat license plate. They have flat steering wheels. So to see a steering wheel with detail on a $5 car here is amazing. I mean, there's even vents in the dashboard. If you can see that, I don't know if you can. The seats are nicely detailed. One bad thing I will say is when you open the doors, they do have the silver there because they paint the car in the part it looks like at one time. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but again, it doesn't kill it for me. Their door mechanism does look a little bit toyish. As you can see, it has that kind of like, almost like old school. Like that's how it had like almost like a spring hinge to it. And that's how they used to be back in the day. That's how they still are. So you have that kind of like stick sticking out of there. So to me, based on that, those two things, and then probably not having the metal chassis, that's where you're probably getting the little bit more affordable price from than a, you know, a full $7, $8 Hot Wheel or whatever. But overall, this looks nice. I like all the detail. It probably could have used a little bit more detail on the taillights, but it does have clear headlights. Like, this is a nice car for $5. It really is. I'm pretty impressed with it. I know it's not perfect. The door gaps look okay to me. They're definitely better than some of those Matchbox moving parts that I opened the other day, especially the Lamborghini. So I would say it's probably just as nice as a Matchbox moving parts car with added detail. So if that gives you any level, reference level of quality there, I like it. I think that's a good model. So let's go ahead and start opening up more. So let's go ahead, let's open up the Lambo. Let's try that one because I really like the wheels on this one. So again, we have the box. I guess we'll get all the boxes out here, kind of stack them up. They'll probably fall over as I'm doing the video. Let me get rid of the cards here. So the Lamborghini Huracan Coupe, a nice casting. I think this casting looks much better than the Hot Wheels version. The Hot Wheels version of this casting has like a really weird front end. It's almost like it's like door stop. It just goes out too far. This one I think looks a little better. Let's look at that Lamborghini logo. It's a pad printed tampo. It's a little hard to see, but this one looks like it has black headlights, but they are plastic, so it's probably a piece of the window there. Window's got a little bit of scratches on it. Doesn't look like it's from the package, though. That looks like an assembly scratch. The paint is a matte gold, which is really killer on this car. You can't see the interior, but the interior does have some nice detail. These 5-spoke wheels are probably some of the best looking wheels that Majorette has. I really like these wheels. I would swap these on a Hot Wheel or another brand. They look so good to me. Really, they look awesome. So, got some marker detail. You have the taillight tampos. It says Lamborghini, which is not totally there. So, you're starting to see some of the reason why they aren't $7 because they are a little bit cheaper. Like, there's kind of been some paint issues on the past 2 we've opened. But in general, I'm not mad about it. Like the black around that is a little sloppy, so that's a little disappointing. But we're not at full premium price point. This is more like a mid-tier. I consider it premium though. So let's go ahead and open this hatch. The hatch has really nice movement. It is clear, so you can see into the engine. The engine lacks a lot of detail. I wish there was some paint on it. I think there needs to be some paint on it. But it's there. So, and I like actually how the hatch stands up and then shuts too. That's kind of cool. So again, you're starting to see a little bit about this line, which detail you can expect from it, and which detail it will have and won't have. But I like the exhausts right there. Does it have the scale on it? No, I don't think it. Oh no, it does. 1/64 scale. So it's actual 1/64 scale. This is 1/66 scale. So if you have another Lambo you want to compare to, that is a true 1/64 scale, according to Jada and Majorette pink slips. So that's kind of cool. All right. That rolls really nice. And there you can see the suspension kind of move up and down. I like it. It's a good car. Nice, 2 for 2. The paint issues aside, I know there's some paint issues on the past 2, but it's not a day ruiner for me. Like the fact that it has some like a little bit of black missing from the taillight, that doesn't ruin the model for me. So this is the 911 GT3 RS. This is such a cool casting. We're going to be opening more of these too, this casting in particular, because there is some in the Majorette line that I'm really excited to open because they have some great color variations. But this one's cool. This is not a color I've seen on other die-cast manufacturers, especially 1/64 scale. It's like a gloss brown, almost like a Sahara brown, but it's gloss. It's really cool. All right, let's take a look at that. Got the box over here. Okay, so obviously the moving part on this is the door, and this one actually looks, the paint is more well done on this one than the other. That door fitment, pretty close right there. It's got a little bit of a gap in the front. That one looks, that looks perfect right there. So it's got nice GT3 RS tampos on it. They're out back. I think the taillights probably got too much of an angle. They look a little funny to me, but they are 2-color. The wing is plastic. It is separate from the body, and it is very sturdy. Like, you can press on it, but I mean, it's pretty sturdy. I wouldn't, like, if I drop this, I'm not worried about this breaking or anything like that. It's very sturdy. So again, it's got a pretty detailed interior. You can see racing seats. Got a center console. The interior looks great on these. I wish the light was a little better because it looks awesome. Like, for a basic style car like this, like not an RLC car or, you know, an $8 premium, it's pretty good. So that door was a little bit harder to get open, but it does open. Passenger, they don't open a ton, but probably enough. You don't need to swing them out all the way over here, but I wish they did work a little bit more. So that's as much movement as you're getting on those doors. I like these red 5-spoke wheels. Or are they 5 or 6? They're 6-spoke wheels. They look pretty good. They're wrapped in the same rubber tires. This one has clear headlights as well, which does add that little bit level of quality to them, a little more detail. It's got the pad printed Porsche on the hood. This is an awesome casting. I have probably 5 of these in various colors. You can see the suspension on that one. I just think they did a great job on it. What's the scale on this one? So this one is 159. So this is a little bit larger. And those wheels look giant on it a little bit when you like kind of take it back out of the package. But I really like this casting. I think they scaled it well. I like the moving parts on it. The taillights are a little funky, but overall, again, I like this one. Rolls pretty well. Fun to play with. These are so much fun because of the suspension. Okay, let's line that one up. All right, let's do the Bugatti. Again, this is another one we're going to be getting into in the third video. So we're going to be opening more of those Majorettes. We have 20 to open there. So there is the Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport. So this is cool because this has double moving parts. So the door opens and the little front trunk, I guess. I don't know what you call that. The front, I guess, the front trunk. So let's look at the casting overall. It's got a nice Bugatti there on the grille. It's very tiny. It is a little bit splattered because it's a pad printed. It's got the 16. The clear headlights or the like tinted headlights because it's a piece of the, is that a piece? Let me see. Yeah, it is a piece of the plastic, which is cool. Let's go ahead and reopen that again. So it doesn't have any paint underneath there, and I'm not sure exactly what it's showing you. So it's cool that it has it. It's just not a ton of detail because the engine's in the back. Let's see the door. Oh, the paint on this one, not the best. The door opens nicely though. Again, it's got a pretty decent interior. That big chunk of metal right there looks a little funny. But you can see on this one, the tab, like on the Challenger, isn't a problem on this one. That one opens a lot smoother. The paint looks better on this side. Yeah, the paint on there, I'm kind of bummed about that. But it does have that nice black stripe that goes around the back. It's got the little Bugatti logo. It's got a red taillight there. Again, this is a separate spoiler. It's got Bugatti on it. It doesn't look hateful. It's got a little bit of artifact on it. It's got the black stripe. You can see the engine down in there. Very detailed. It's got a lot of detail on it. It's got the exhaust. The exhausts aren't very good because they're molded in plastic. I'm not super happy about that. But overall, as a release, I think this looks great. Especially from the front. I think the front looks pretty mean. I like that 16 in the grille, and I really like these 5-spoke wheels too. So let's go ahead and see 1/65th scale. So there it is right there. Dicky Spiz, I can't even say it. Something Germany, but they're made in Thailand right now. I think they have a factory, a office in France still. Majorette does, but I think they're produced a couple different places. But man, as a release, that looks pretty good. For $5 to get a Bugatti that is that detailed at a retail store in the United States, not too bad. That door is is that door sagging a little bit? No, I guess that's just how it's designed. It kind of looks a little funky. The door, yeah, the door line needs to be popped up a little bit on that one. So the doors aren't the best on it, and I think it should be lower. It needs to be sitting like that. Basically, but that's probably because of the working suspension on these cars. They kind of design them to do that. But again, not bad overall. There's some problems with it, like things not lining up, some of the paint issues, but it still doesn't ruin the model for me. I've had models ruined from other companies, but nothing has been a model ruiner so far. So the Porsche Taycan Turbo S, I think this is Porsche's best looking car, legitimately. Like this, it just looks so good in real life. In the Audi e-tron too, it's like sister car, just looks excellent. So boop. So there is the Porsche box. Okay, let's take a look at this. So this has the same 6-spoke wheel. So this is the third different wheel. So we have the 5-spoke, the 6-spoke, and then like the, I don't know what you call it, I guess 10-spoke or double 5-spoke wheel on the Challenger. But this is cool. This is another car that has double moving parts. So we have the front trunk, the frunk open there, which is kind of cool. I don't mind the silver there. I think it goes actually pretty well with the red, but it is unpainted and it has that black insert. It's got nice gray wheels. The doors open nicely, and then you can see the interior in that one. Does this have clear headlights? This one does too. They might all have that. I haven't looked closely at some of them, but I think they might all have that. So the clear headlights, really nice bonus. This one has mirrors. So far, they all have mirrors. That is a very nice feature. I'm glad they included those. So the doors seem to be pretty tight. I mean, look at the interior. It's got the cup holders you can see, the seat pad. That one, it lets a lot of light in through that front window. These interiors are very nicely detailed. So what is on the paint? Are they sparkles? I think they might be sparkles. They are. It looks like a metallic paint on there. Right? Yeah, it's metallic paint. At least it looks like it through the camera. So you can kind of see it glittery there. I don't really like that. I don't know why they did that, because it looks like paint error. Like it looks like almost like the paint isn't correct, but it is like metallic bits. So cool car, good release. I like the tampos. I like the wheels. I don't know if I would have done that that kind of paint style on it, because it's not the best. It could be, I mean, it could even be a paint error on this one, but I don't know. It looks like it's like over the car completely. So that would kind of be odd to have have the paint chunked up like that over the whole car. I don't know. Okay, let's see so the scale, 1/63rd scale. I love that they put the scale. So to me, this is a win of a casting. This release is not the best. I don't like the paint on it, but the casting itself is cool. I think it's good. So it's, again, got that nice suspension you can bounce up and down and play with in your diecast town if you want, but they also make for good diorama cars because they have moving parts. So you can kind of put them in different positions and stuff. So let's go ahead and look at the Mercedes. So I hope this is giving you guys some good insight into this line and some of the quality, some of the issues you could expect to run into, or what you could expect to when you open it. There, Mercedes GT. All right, let's look at this. Oh, this one actually has the thing in the door. There we go. Oh, we have our first mess up. So there, the mirror is chunked. It's kind of a bummer. Ugh, that's no good. Okay, well, that might be a casting ruiner. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the rest. AMG, it's got nice taillights. 5-spoke wheels. These are black with a chrome lip, which look really good. Again, it has the plastic headlights, which this one does not fit into the shape, like the well that they made for them, or the housing. Can you push them back? So they can be adjusted. I don't know if you can see that. They can be pushed a little bit, so they might actually be a separate piece from the windshield, but they don't fit the greatest. So far, this has probably been the worst one, just because of that and then the scratch on it. But overall, as a casting, it looks great. Looks good in orange, got nice detail. Let's see how the doors function. Doors work okay. Some interior in there. Yeah, it's got a nice interior. These have really nice interiors for what they are. So that one does have the little orange peg sticking out, but you can't, it's not too viewable. So the doors look like they have decent gaps. Really bummed about that scratch though. So overall, I would say the biggest problem that we've ran into with these Majorettes is just little paint hiccups. So that, some of the paint not matching on the tail light, the paint mark on the door, the Bugatti. So apparently that is plaguing more than just Mattel. I know I've ran into that kind of issues before, but this is the first big issue I've ran into with a Majorette like that. So of course it would be when we're doing the Majorette reviews, but man, this rolls really nicely. It has that nice suspension, so like, you can, I don't know, put some weight on it, slam it down and take a picture of it and then take it back off. But really cool casting. I'm a fan of that. I like these Mercedes in real life, so that's a cool one. Now I'm going to have to look for another one that isn't scratched, though, and I don't know if I could have seen that on the card. I don't think I could, because it would have been facing the other side. So that was a little bit of a bummer. Okay, let's go ahead and do the Jeep. This is my least favorite one from the whole collection. I don't really I didn't really need to buy this Jeep. Like, I don't necessarily want this Jeep in my collection, but I want the whole line. So here it is. Okay. So this is kind of interesting. It has pink windows, which definitely speaks to the pink slip line. It's got Rubicon. It has pink headlights. So these, I think every car here does have plastic headlights, which is kind of cool. That's not a feature that's on any other diecast manufacturer in the United States that I know of. I don't think I've seen plastic headlights on a car in a long time on a lot of brands. So this one is cool because it has the tow hitch, and if you watch the throwback video I did the other day on some of the Majorettes, it has the hitch keeper. So it actually has this little plastic piece up at the above the hitch. So when you put a trailer on there, it kind of locks it into place and won't come off when you're like playing with it or rolling with it around, which is cool. So I don't think, let's see, does this top come off? I don't think it does. So the top comes off, but the plastic is one piece. So I don't think it's beneficial to actually take the top off. You can if you want to customize it, I guess, but the plastic window appears to be one piece. Yeah, it looks like one piece. So I'm not going to take it off. Or is that the moving part? There's no moving part on this one? Is it that? Oh, I'm going to risk it. No, it is. So there is no moving part on this one. You can take it off, but I don't think you should, because again, the plastic is one piece. So I guess that would be the moving part on this. That's kind of a bummer. These wheels kind of look too small for this casting too. I like the wheels. Are these rubber? They are rubber, but they're very hard rubber though. I think they needed to be bigger. The wheels might not need to be bigger, but the tires definitely need to be bigger, because this is definitely an on-road Jeep. Like it doesn't look like it's going off-road, but the suspension on this one is pretty killer. It's got a lot of movement on it. So it would have been cool. Like, look at that. You could do some rock climbing with that. Really nice articulation on the suspension on that one. So maybe it doesn't need bigger tires. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Some hydraulic action. Not bad. That's still my least favorite. I still like the scraped Mercedes better. Okay, so we have the Audi R8 Spider. All right, let's see here. Got the box. Let's look at this one. So it looks like the mirrors on this one. Okay, again, mirrors on everything, including the Jeep. It's got those clear headlights, the nice Audi, the Ring logo on it. Then we can see a better version of their interiors. As you can see, it's very clean. Let's see, does this open? What opens on this one? Oh, okay. Maybe they don't all have moving parts in it, because this does not have a moving part that I can find. Okay, so some of them don't have moving parts. For some reason, I thought they all did, but this casting still looks good. I'm not mad that it doesn't have a moving part. I guess it doesn't really need one because the convertible top is down. I expected maybe the doors to open, but they definitely don't. You can see they're molded in there. So that's a little bit of a bummer after the rest have had mostly moving parts, but you can see the R8, the 4 rings, pretty standard tampos, nothing out of the ordinary. The R8 is a little bit off, and the Ring logos might be a little bit off too. But again, that's not a day ruiner, a model ruiner. But I like those wheels, so let's go ahead. Let's see. Suspension on that one. Those wheels look giant from the side. Ooh. Let's look at the scale. What's the scale of this one? So this is 1/58. So that is a little bigger. Did we check the Jeep? I don't think we checked the Jeep. This is 1/60th scale. Okay. Because if it was true 164, then they would be a lot bigger, obviously. But okay, so 158. They roll very well. Almost all of them that we've opened so far have had no problem rolling, which is good, especially if you have suspension, you want to roll it around. Okay, let's do the G-Wagon. So collectability-wise, now that you've seen a few open, what do you think? Because I have opened a few before, but now opening in bulk, I'm seeing a little bit of the issues, like the paint issues that can come from them. But overall, we've opened, what, 2, 4, 6, 8 so far. I've been pretty happy with them. The only really true day ruiner was the Mercedes right there. But other than that, this line has been decently solid. So here is the G-Wagon. This thing actually looks pretty good. So Hot Wheels RLC is about to release a version of this, and it's going to be $30 basically with shipping, $35. So this one cost $6. So it'll be interesting to compare the two. I know it's hard to compare them because the Hot Wheel one has a lot more detail because of the price. But this one isn't too bad. I like it. Actually sits lower. To me, this has a lower stance like the Jeep. Like usually these sit up a little higher. I do like it how it's the newer version. It has the like 2017 or 19 and up bumpers. I think those look pretty good. Again, we have clear headlights. Looks excellent. It's got a nice Mercedes logo in there. The grille tampos look decent. The opening part is the hood, which doesn't open very far, but you can see the engine in there, that AMG V8. It's not a huge articulation on the hood there, but it does fit up quite nicely. I don't think it has a huge gap or anything. It looks decent. I've seen worse. That's not terrible. The paint is okay on this one. It's got a white top, which doesn't have too many hiccups for being such a large Tampo. It's what? Probably 1.25 inches by 3/4 of an inch. It's a really big Tampo. But back in the back, we have the windshield wiper that has a black Tampo on it. We have the Mercedes logo on the spare tire cover, the G500. Oh no, look at that. No. Oh man, look at that. It's got a chip out of the bumper. What is it with the Mercedes? Both Mercedes had that. The people assembling them were like not having a good Mercedes day, but that's definitely a day ruiner too. Man, that's a bummer. But there you can see a little better of the hitch keeper because it sticks out a little farther. So you kind of put like, I don't know if it'll like put the hitch in there like this, and then when it stays in it, it like holds it down, which is nice. I think that is a good detail, but that sucks. Come on. Boo. Did more come off? I don't know if more just came off, but it looked like it just got bigger. But that's a bummer because it doesn't matter what price, whether it's a mainline, $5 or $40, I don't want that on my car. So that is a bummer. But the car itself, the release, as a release, it's good. It rolls decently well. The suspension travel isn't too much on this one because the tires are so close to the wheel well, which kind of gives you a little bit of what maybe like why the Jeep has a little funnier stance, but it does still have suspension to play with. I'm just bummed about that paint. Oh man, sucks. Okay, so what, 2 out of 9 have had paint issues so far, so let's cross our fingers on the last 3. So we have the Land Rover Defender 90, 3 more to go. I really appreciate you guys sticking with me on this one and watching. I don't know if anyone's watching this far into it because hopefully it's I don't know how exciting it is, but I like doing it. So hopefully you guys like looking at these too. So there is the box. Okay, let's see. Make sure there's no scratches on it. I don't see any scratches. Okay, looks okay. I don't think we have any big scratches or anything on this one. It's only the Mercedes apparently. So its moving part is the doors. It does have mirrors as well. Clear headlights just like the rest. Interior looks good. It's hard to see, but it looks good. It does have that. Oh, see, this one doesn't have the keeper there, does it? No, it doesn't. Dang. No keeper on that one. Let's compare it to the G-Wagon. Yeah, so it's got a little bit different of a design on that one, as you can see. Yeah, so no keeper on that one, but this casting looks good. This is the newer Defender. Let's see, what's the 166 scale. It looks good. It's got nice tampos. It's got the white plastic roof. It's got seats in the back and no post. You notice that? There's no giant posts in the back sticking through like a lot of other brands do. I don't think there is even one. Yeah, do you see that? You can see through the whole car and there's seats in the back too. There's no post, which is really nice. That's a nice design cue. So let's go ahead and open this door. Oh, that one opens super wide. Look at that. You can see where it's not painted though. Did that one open that wide? I guess it did. You can see in the interior, it's a thick door. Let's see that. Land Rover, Defender. Not bad. I like this casting. I like this car in real life too, which helps. It's got those 6-spoke gold wheels on it. Got the fun to play with suspension. Again, this one, nowhere near the articulation. So to me, it goes, in terms of like suspension movement, it goes Jeep is the best, then the G-Wagon, and then this. I don't think this has very much movement. Maybe even this and then the G-Wagon. I don't know. They both don't have a lot of movement. But this looks killer. They picked a really good color combination on this. The white, blue, and like bronze look killer. And it helps when there's no scratches. Ayo. Okay. To the GTR R35. Look at that. Okay. So if I had to pick a favorite so far, I think the Porsche, the 911 GT3 RS has probably been the coolest one. I really like the Bugatti too, but I think that Porsche is one of my favorite ones that we've done so far. So let me move this out of the way. All right, the R35. So this has two moving parts, doors open and the hood open. So you can see the engine in there. It is nicely detailed, like the plastic has a lot of detail, but there's no tampo detail on it or anything like that. So the hood fitment is so-so. It's not the best. The door movement is not bad. It fits nicely. That's probably the best fitting moving part I've seen. Like it fits very nice against that, especially on this side. It's got a decent interior. It's got the GTR up front, clear headlights again. This one has a lot of body cast in it. Like you can see the body molding where they pulled it out of the cast. It goes across right there. Kind of across by the wing right there, the spoiler. The tampos look good though. You can read Nissan. Might be hard because of the silver, but it does have decent tampos on it. Not bad. This one, the fitment isn't the best. You can definitely see the hood is popped up. This is probably the worst hood fitment, but some of the best door fitment. They really spent the time on the doors on this one apparently. But I like the wheels. These are the same wheels that are on the Hellcat. Let's see where the suspension is on this one. Oh, it's got a decent suspension. It's not terrible. Again, these are fun to play with. If you like rolling the cars in your collection, these are the cars to do it because of that suspension. They're just so much fun to play with. Like, look at the rainbow of cars. It already looks awesome, and we're only on the first wave. So, last car, the first wave, the F-Type. These are monstrous in real life. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard any of the V8 versions, but they sound awesome. Whoop. Okay. F-Type. F-Type R, too. And, of course, it's in that, like, beautiful British racing green color. The 5-spoke wheels. Oh, my gosh, look at the suspension on this. Oh, this will be so much fun to play with. Okay, so there we have the doors. I don't know if you can see the interior. Again, the interiors on these, I would say these are probably the best interiors of really anything under $5 and under. They have by far the best interiors. Probably the only other thing in this exact price frame would be NASCAR's, the Lionel NASCAR Authentics. And they all have the same interior. They have great interiors, but I think for like a stock car, not a stock car, these have the better interiors. But this car looks great. Clear headlights look awesome. The paint, really nice. Look at that green color. beautiful. Gray wheels look good. F-type. Man, this is probably, I mean, this is a really nice casting. There's no scratches on it anywhere. Looks good. What is this? This is a 1/59th scale, but this thing is good. I mean, this is done very well. From the side, it looks like a Nissan Z, the new Nissan. Or actually, the Nissan Z looks like this because this came out first. Look at that suspension travel on that. Tons of suspension travel. Like, you could slam it down like that, like really, really hard, and it'll come back. That is so cool. This is a very well done model. Ooh, it rolls really well too. Man, those are all nice. So after the first wave, because I've never opened this, I think I've opened the GTR and maybe the Porsche before, just in passing, like just for fun. Then I just set it on my shelf. But this is the first time I've opened these in bulk, and they're good. I would give them a solid mid-grade. I think they're priced right. I think $5 for them is the right price range. But some of the models are more top tier than others. Like, I think this Bugatti could sit next to any Hot Wheels car culture car and look just as nice. I think this is nice. Some of the other ones, like this Jeep, looks to be on the cheap end. Like, I think this kind of brings the line down a little bit. But the rest aren't bad. Even the Defender and the G-Wagon, some of their, like, to me, the wheels look a little cheap on this, but it's well done. The Audi, the F-Type, the Mercedes, even with the paint issues, it's just done very well. So taking that into the price range, some of the paint issues, I think it's priced well. Some of the parts that don't move, it's a decent line. So let me know what you think of this line. Now that we've gotten into the pink slips, a little bit of the history, let me know what you think of these, because they're definitely, I mean, they're Majorette castings. So let me think of what you've seen so far. We're going to be going over 6 more different castings in the line in the second video. And then in the third video, we're going to be having probably over a dozen different castings from Majorette still that are different from these too. So let me know what you think of these in the comments. I really appreciate you watching. I hope you stick around and watch part 2 and 3, because this line just keeps getting better in terms of the car and the casting offerings. There's just some really cool stuff coming up. So I really appreciate you watching. I will link the vintage unboxing of the Majorette 5-pack down in the description below too, if you want to see those. And I will see you guys in part 2. Bye.